Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets
Lori and Jeff Wolford, the parents of Army Corporal Andrew Wolford, who gave his life in defense of this country.
I'd like to thank OutServe for inviting Jeff and I to be here this weekend. It is an honor and a privilege to be here with you. Our son Andrew was killed in action in February of this year by an IED explosion outside of Kandahar. He was 31 years old. His death is no more or less significant than other soldiers that have died in wars, but gay soldier killed in Afghanistan is a compelling headline and a confounding story for some people. At times we've been a little uncomfortable with this label because, as Andrew's sister put it, being gay was the least interesting thing about him. It helps us to know that his story gave a little strength to the Don't Ask, Don't Tell repeal and continues to resonate with the broader issues of equality and freedom that face our country today. At the age of 29, Andrew announced to us that he was joining the Army. I was shocked. There was nothing about this guy that screamed military. He hated war, didn't like guns, had never used a gun as far as I knew. He didn't like being told what to do. He was messy. He was always late. And he was gay. He was searching for purpose and friendship. This was not the impulsive decision of a teenager. He thought about it for 2 years. And he got used to the idea that he'd have to take orders, use a weapon, and see violence. And as a gay man, he fully understood that Don't Ask, Don't Tell was official military policy, and he prepared himself to look and act straight. The risks facing Andrew in the Army seemed endless to me, and I worried. After 12 years of being openly gay in an accepting family and a community, how could he hide who he was? But he reminded me that gays and lesbians have done this forever. As a straight person, it's hard to imagine. Straight people have never had to pretend that they aren't straight. And so he enlisted. On a cold January night, we dropped Andrew off at the Army Enlistment Center, located in a neighborhood strip mall. It seemed an odd place to begin this new life. We hugged him hard, wished him luck, and said goodbye. During his first year in the Army, he proved to himself and to others that he could protect and defend his fellow soldiers, and he became a friend and a confidant to many. A year into his enlistment, Andrew felt comfortable telling his fellow soldiers that he was gay, and he told me later that it was no big deal. No one cared, not even the religious and more conservative soldiers. He was a good soldier. He was well-liked, respected, his sexuality didn't matter. When bombs are dropping and bullets are flying, soldiers are not thinking about whether the guy next to them is gay. The Taliban doesn't discriminate, and IEDs don't either. As we have painfully learned, gay soldiers die too. After Andrew died, his fellow soldiers said these things about him. I want to be the soldier and the man that Andrew was. Because of Andrew, I'm going to try and be a better father, and I'll miss my brother forever. Before his company left Afghanistan this summer, they named their combat outpost after him. Combat Outpost Wilford stands 6 miles outside of Kandahar city and is now occupied by another military police company. What all these tributes tell me is that in the military, a good soldier is defined by many things, and sexual preference is not in the equation. But as a mom, it makes me proud when the men and women he served with tell us stories about how Andrew was always willing to drop what he was doing to help someone else, that he was the funny man that could break the tension after a long day of patrol, and that he was the closest friend some of them had ever had. As one of his best buddies put it, Andrew never judged me. DADT is thankfully now a thing of the past, and though it may seem like a sudden huge change to some, all of us here today know that it came about because of your service and the everyday actions of thousands of gay and lesbian soldiers. I didn't know much about the military when Andrew enlisted, and arguably I still don't. But I have come to see that the military is a reflection of our nation's diversity. Its members a mix of racial, religious, socioeconomic backgrounds. And if Andrew's experience of acceptance is common, then as a society we are definitely making progress towards greater acceptance of our LGBT citizens, and about this I feel very hopeful. But as we make progress, you know we still have challenges ahead. Americans love to recite that worn-out phrase, our soldiers fight to protect our freedoms, yet at the same time, we're so quick to limit the freedoms of some citizens here at home. It is not lost on us that Andrew died protecting rights that he himself could not enjoy, especially the right to marry the person he loved. Like our son, when you enlisted, he took an oath to protect and defend the Constitution. Yet as we buried our son back home in Minnesota, a small group of state legislators managed to push a state constitutional amendment banning gay marriage on the ballot in November of 2012. The Constitution you are serving to protect, the Constitution that our son died for, was intended to protect rights, not to deny them. Andrew believed social change was always possible, and that each one of us could make change happen by doing the smallest things in our own communities, and we do too. So in the next year, Jeff and I are going to work hard to keep this discrimination out of our state constitution. We hope that his story will make people think twice about their knee-jerk reactions to gay marriage and their ideas about freedom and liberty. Many state constitutions have been abused in our nation over the last 10 years, and maybe Minnesota can stop this trend in 2012. I want you to know that ordinary people like Jeff and I are on your side, and we're willing to fight with you and for you, and there are a lot of people like us willing to do the same. But tonight, we celebrate the progress we've made so far. You deserve it. We are thrilled that DADT has been repealed, and you can now serve your country openly and without fear. While we are deeply saddened that Andrew can't mark this long overdue moment, we know that he would be proud of the work that your organizations are doing, and he was honored to be one of you. I know that he is with us tonight in spirit. Thank you all for your service and all that you continue to do to make things right for all LGBT citizens of this country. Thank you.
Titus.
Thank you so much. I've never been announced with a voice like that that comes out of the sky. I can't tell you how proud I am to be here tonight, and how proud I am to know and meet and work with all of you. What an incredible occasion. I'm just here as a co-sponsor of the legislation that y'all worked so hard, sacrificed so much, and accomplished so great a thing when you advocated for the removal of that very bad policy of don't ask, don't. Thank you for serving our country. I want to thank you for advocating for this cause, and I want to thank you for choosing Las Vegas to have your first convention. Come back again next year. And if you leave a little money on the table, don't think of it as a gambling loss. Think of it as contributing to education. I want to thank James Healy in the New York. Haven't they done a great job? We also have some foreign visitors with us who are part of the panel today. Is that right? You know, you do make us all proud with your courage both on the battlefield and off, and with your commitment to changing the military for the better, not just for the people who are there today, but for generations to come. And that's what getting rid of this kind of policy and planning the many things that you're going to be doing from this point forward will absolutely accomplish. So that's a great thing. And you have such a wonderful organization, OutServe. It's just been in existence for 1 year, and I understand you already have 45 chapters. You're just popping up all over the place. This is fabulous. And you're doing so much at such a critical time. Not only is it a great support group, it's a great educational group, it's an advocacy organization for issues to continue, because we can't stop with Don't Ask, Don't Tell. We've got to keep this moving forward till everybody is treated equally in all countries. When we were considering the legislation and the statistics were just so compelling on top of the personal stories. Those pictures just make you want to cry and cry out because they're so moving. But we heard at least 13,000 that we know of, people who are lost, personnel who are highly qualified, from linguists to pilots to medical servicemen and women. What a tragedy at a time when we need people so much in the military services, people who are brave enough and willing enough to serve. And so thanks to your efforts, that will never happen again in the future for the reason that it did before. And that is quite an accomplishment. You know, everybody wears the same uniform, everybody bleeds the same color, and everybody supports the same flag. So everybody should be treated equally, and that's what this organization stands for. And you have some good partners, too, in the HRC and in Stonewall Democrats who were there advocating with you to remove and get rid of this awful policy. You know, I know you've been getting lots of news coverage. I've seen you on CNN and Huffington Post and everywhere. But there was also an article in the local paper. And some of the comments that you made, I think, say it much more eloquently than I can. Let me see if some of you are here, or maybe you're still out gambling, or you fell into the... How about Cody Parsons? Is Cody Parsons here? How about Christy Wolfmeyer? And then Captain Sue Fulton, I know, is here. She said, our ultimate objective is to make the military better and stronger because it's diverse and inclusive. I say hoorah